So in this video, I am going to explain, because I recently found out, like in the last 6 months, the term that I am a light worker and I am here to help humanity. And in this video, I'm going to kind of explain how I was in, and I think it has to do with me being part of a light worker because I was physically abused. There's only one person that ever emotionally abused me, and that's my mother. Physically, emotionally, day after day after day, for like 20 years as I was growing up. She is absolutely the meanest person that that you'll ever meet. And right when nobody else abused me physically, mentally, nothing to this day. My mom is the only person that has abused me at all. But when I was in high school, or I'm sorry, not in high school, but right when I got out of high school, maybe like 2 months later, I met a guy, and I kind of, through spiritual teaching and everything, I basically, through my videos, you're going to understand, but I kind of summed it up to realize that I am a light worker and he is an alcoholic narcissist. So basically, part one, this is part one of my vlog about how I was abused by a narcissist. Basically, so this is like the summer of, wait a minute, so this is, yeah, the summer of 2007. This is right after I get out of high school. I move out of state, and I'm going to school for that time to become, a nurse's aide and everything. Because I wanted to become a, nurse's aide first, I had to do that first, and then I wanted to study to become a registered nurse and everything like that, and then basically ended up deciding it's just too much work for me, and it was pretty hard, anatomy and math, and I wasn't really into that, so I ended up moving back home a while later. But anyway, so I go down, and so the part one of this video, picture me, little light worker here. I'm with my friends in college in late 2007, and right now I am dating a guy. I actually had a current boyfriend that I was just dating for like a little bit, maybe about a month, like nothing too serious or anything. I was just out of high school, and so I'm at college here. And I have this big group of friends, about 5 people of us and everything. And I was friends with this guy. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to call my ex-boyfriend, I'm going to call him G. So, me and G are friends with, maybe 5 other people, including G, in my little circle of friends. The guy that I was dating at the current time was not a member of this group of friends. So I end up breaking up with my current boyfriend that I'm seeing, and then this guy that was one of our friends, me and G, in our group of friends, me and G, we're a nice looking couple, and we were kind of, obviously attracted to each other and everything. And one of the guys in our group of friends tells me, oh, I know G likes you, and he was trying to get G to take me to some cafe and everything like that. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't mind doing that. And then he's like, yeah, basically he ran up to G, and then he's like, well, why don't you take me out? And then it was kind of history from there. The cat was in the bag then. So G and I go to this cafe, and, we have like a nice evening and everything. And then he ends up telling me that his mom was a lawyer, and he seemed, real cute and everything like that. And I was very attracted to him. I thought he was a really nice person. He seemed like he was kind of like a quieter person, maybe kind of like a little bit of a lonely person and everything. And he was going to school full time and everything like that. And then basically, maybe that day or a couple days later, I don't know exact the timing, but we were sitting out in the field one night, and he says to me the direct words. He says, so do you want to be my girlfriend? I'm like, okay, sure, and things were going, pretty well and everything like that. And then for Thanksgiving, so this is probably like September, 2007, that I enter into a relationship with G. And then around Thanksgiving of 2007. So this is a couple months later. We go back up to Seattle, and we go to his mom's house and everything like that. And things are going great between G and I and everything. And she takes pictures of the couple, two of us, blah blah blah. And then I meet his family and everything like that. And his mom was really nice. His mom is like a really nice lady. Like his mom is like one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. Anyway, then a couple days later, so this is like the day after like Thanksgiving, or this is like a couple that days later or whatever. He calls me a couple days later after Thanksgiving. I'm at my grandma's house, and he goes, "Well, there's something that I have to tell you." And I said, "Well, what?" And he just basically told me that he was not interested in being in a relationship with me. And then he says, like, well, he goes, "Oh, I go through phases where I like to be single," and he just told me that he felt like really confused, and he was really he didn't really know if he wanted to be, tied down in commitment and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, okay, obviously I was disappointed it didn't work out the way that, it had. And then he told me that he felt a little uncomfortable when I had one conversation with his mother over the phone, which I thought was a little weird, that he would feel really uncomfortable by that. And then basically, so that's part one of my story. So this is like Thanksgiving, the holiday season 2007, and that's when he breaks up with me. And I said, okay, and I deleted his number and everything. And then a few days later, maybe like a week later, I'm at my grandma's house again, and he calls me again. And, I see the phone ringing on the floor, and I'm like, oh, okay, wonder who that is, and it's him. And I was kind of surprised. And then he told me that he was more into drinking, because he used to sometimes go drinking, on the weekends and everything like that. And I didn't really think it was a big deal when we were back at school. And then he's like, yeah, well, I did some, cocaine, because, the holiday season can be really difficult for people that used to abuse drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay. And, I didn't really say a whole lot to him. But, so this is probably like the first week of December. He calls me, and we have, this one, phone conversation and everything like that. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't really remember it. I don't think he really said, too much. I didn't really have an opinion about it. And then he calls me the next month. So basically, his birthday was on New Year's Day. And so he calls me after New Year's Day, and he's like, well, he just told me a bunch of drama that had happened and stuff like that. And he said that he absolutely like lost his temper, and he was calling, telling his sister that he's going to cut her with a knife, and he went to the hospital, and he flipped out, and he totally lost it. And then he ends up telling me that he got kicked out of school because he went back after the holiday, or after the Thanksgiving, and they ended up kicking him out of school. Then he got evicted from his apartment, and he went back to live with his dad, and which was kind of last resort, because his dad, I don't think he was physically abused, but he was very emotionally abused when he was growing up and everything. And his dad is a raging alcoholic. His dad is very emotionally abusive, and it was just kind of like the last resort that he had was kind of living on his dad's couch. So that's kind of what happened. So this is part one of my journey with a narcissist. So that's basically what happened between G and I. He asked me out in September of 2007, and then he dumped me like a week after Thanksgiving in 2007. So we were dating for like a couple of months, but it really hurt my feelings, because I really, really, really liked him a lot. And I just had that connection. I don't understand what it is, but it really hurt my feelings that he just dumped me out of nowhere after I met his family and stuff like that. And like, I thought that was the beginning stage, but he didn't like it at all. He just, thought that it was too much pressure and commitment and stuff like that. So that is part one. That's basically the first time that the first phase of my relationship with a narcissistic alcoholic.